Hello builders, and welcome to another ESO Homes. Slight difference with this one. It's the first home I'm ever showing you guys that isn't completely finished, but it's not going to be finished. I've got to pull it apart for a housing competition in 2 different guilds. And it's kind of a weird story with this place. I started it as a follow-up to my city build. I wanted to do a smaller, more realistic, compact version. But then Greymore dropped, and this place was just abandoned for weeks. And I was back in here the other day looking for a piece of furniture, and I thought, well, before I just trash all this, it would be nice to at least get it to a state where it's ready for showing. There's a few more tips and ideas. There's a couple of how-tos. But we'll do them as we come to them the second time around. First time I'm just going to walk it so you can see. This was supposed to be a meat stall, a butcher's, but there's another store that's going to be very similar enough up there, so I don't need to. So it's just, it's a small area, really small, so I'm just going to do a quick lap. Hopefully not too fast, because I'm a swine for doing the jerky camera. What I'll do is, obviously once I finish this, I'm going to come back to each area and I'm going to start picking them apart so you can see them properly. I wish I was on PC. Some of the stuff you can do with Essential Homes. You can put lighting effects or backgrounds and make windows. Beautiful. But my stuff is mainly, well, it's aimed at the community in general, but particularly PS4 players, because Sony won't let any third-party parts be brought out. So we're stuck. Well, you can't do anything with this. We literally just have what they give us. So with that in mind, I love how this came out. It's my church. Should have been a lot more of those urns, but for a 2-day build I wasn't going to go and start ripping them out of all my other houses, and I've got a few in the merchants guild store at the moment. There's my church, you can see it a bit better. Let's just get around that fence. I'm so happy with that church. I'm going to have to rebuild that on its own and make it as a proper 3-dimensional building, or at least with 2 sides. So do the side, the left side and the front maybe. Don't need to do the back of the tower. As you can tell, this wall's got no detailing on it. It should have had some windows and doors. I just didn't get around to it. So you got my grocery store. That was pretty good. Came out. Should have been a couple of windows up here, and maybe even just a small attic window, but I'm out of mirrors. I just don't have any more. I think there's like 15 or 20 mirrors just placed on these buildings. So you got my bakers. Clothing store. Lastly, back around the corner to the house, the start. So let's start with the new ideas I came up with, and just a couple of tips. So, if you are doing a bar or a house with a raised floor, or you want to do a basement of some kind, just angle the walls in. Another wall angled in here, and then for the doors there's Breton sconce. One has two of those little parts that attach to the wall, and some have one. So the doubles are perfect for these doors, and the singles are perfect for ordinary front doors. So they just pop in. So the basement doors. This is the common counter island. You're going to see it in 3 different places, or rather 3 purposes in my in my house. Put it back. So that's how you do a basement, if you want to, especially if you're doing a bar, because you want to do you could do a basement, you could have it open and put something black on the inside so it looks like a hole. You could have steps sunk into the floor and then black. You could have it closed and have some barrels waiting for it, like a delivery to come, they're waiting to go downstairs. For here, Solitude's rain barrel. You can use it as a planter, and it gives you easy plants, easy access, without having to use a lot of pieces for some flower barrels. Or use it for its purpose and connect it to Clockwork City support struts. 500 gold each in Clockwork City zone, and you can make guttering. So if you want some drain pipes, that's easy. Mirrors for windows. Either use the Allen or window boxes to hide the feet. These Allen single stones from Somerset, Allen City furniture vendor. Or if it's the higher ones, or you're doing got a wooden house, you could do on the top one there's a wooden shelf for a windowsill. You just kind of see it there. Camera spinning a bit because of the building blocking it. Here I just threw in some flowers just to disguise it a little bit. And without, if you don't got too close, it looks alright. This is, of course, is just the Eleanor Shrine, Elsewhere Shrine. God, dear. Oh, also, if you're using these, they look a little bit flat, but if you throw a light into them, you get all the shadows and the light, and it really shows the depth of the carving. Halalu didn't work quite so well. Daedric worked really well because it's a very red light. It really picks up the orange on the stones, so that gives some really good lighting effects. Could have done with one there and there. Next up, you've got the hovel. Windows are made with kitchen counter islands. Again, for some reason, but they don't have graphics on the bottom, so you get this hole punch through it. You also can't see the side panels. But what I've done is here, is I've put this wooden piece, which is the wall. I just brought it out to hide the fact that from the inside you can't see anything, it's just missing the graphic. The base is weathered dock platform. You can buy it in one of the zone furnishes. It's not an achievement furnishing. And then in the room, everything is sunk into the wall a bit. From the front, you can't really tell. But it just means that you have enough space that it looks like you have a fairly decent sized room. Whereas if it was the depth that it's supposed to be, this would be a ridiculously narrow room. So from the outside, it just helps everything to look like it's a bigger space than it actually is. It's just kind of an optical illusion. That's probably only 30 items in total. 35 max, but I think nearer 30. So you could do 10 of those houses with different furnishings and slightly different looks, and still not have even hit half of your cap on a big house. The lighting effect is awesome, looks really good at night, and it's the New Moon's Antiquity. New Moon Ceremonial Pool. Oh, Moon's Bless, whatever. This is made with an Elsewhere platform block, a couple of Elsewhere structures. The Orc platforms, they're a mixture of green and blue recipes. And then just a few basic furnishings. I went really light on the decorations here. I made sure that I used large pieces as opposed to a million little bottles and glasses. With this wine rack, I'll point out it's a little bit delicate looking. Doesn't look like it would last long in a bar. It's a bit too fancy for a basic bar. But if you hide it on the wall amongst other bits, it gives it more of a rough around the edges look. Just, you know, a seating area, somewhere to hang your cloak, comfy chairs. You know, nothing too exciting. If you're going to build a room from scratch, pull it smaller. I always say that height is your best friend in builds, and when you're working with an ESO house, yeah, it is, because those places are normally too damn big. Too big for any kind of reality build. But with this, you can pull the ceiling down, make it more of a snug and cozy room, and it just it works better. You don't need to have like 8 tables to fill up one room. That's the trouble with a lot of the big houses. They're dining rooms. It's like, if it's supposed to be a house, no one's going to have 10 tables and like 50 dining room chairs just scattered about the room. Okay, so this room here, I'm going to show you in 2 seconds. Here you've got the slightly richer house. Again, common counter island. And the double sconce. Oh, that's not bad with the lighting effect. Because I had a place. It was too dark here, you couldn't see anything, so I had to place the diarama light on the floor. However, now that I know I can do that, don't want it too bright. Actually, it's not even that bright. I could probably light this one as well. Let's see. There you go. Doesn't add too much brightness, but at night time, that'll be a lot more noticeable. So let's see. This is just elsewhere platforms. And then the building next door is literally just the elsewhere platform, 3 glass. You could have used 2 glass with an elsewhere wall in between them. Should be 3 curtains, but I've got 2. I run out here. So there's a candle. And then just any kind of backing, a picture frame that's going to show up easily, some light, and some kind of tall furniture. That's all you needed. So that house is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 13 items to build that middle house, including the 2 side walls. That's it. I mean, you think how many of those you could build in different versions and that. Okay. Yeah, this one I did in the previous video. That's not new. But these dioramas with all the open windows, I've never built. That's the first house I've actually built from scratch myself. Talk about a learning curve. That's the first building I've ever done from scratch, and that's the second. Although I guess you can't go in there, so I still only built one. Font of Aurel. From Blackreach, you want to be killing vampire bears, is what the net says. But the spawn rate is really slow, and there only tends to be 4 or 5 in each area. Horrible. Don't do it. Just go to the Greymore Keep and farm grey Shadow Knights, the big tall Falmer ones. So this is the Font of Aurel. Alanor Archway, Clockwork Metal Plate, Alien. Now this is from the Crown Store, this gate. But I wanted a churchy door, and that was just lying around in the box. I'm like, perfect. And I like that when you look through the windows, you've got the font, and then you've got the other door. Should have been another alien crate there, but I'm not going to buy a second one just for that. And then if I get that out the way, the main building is a monument. That one doesn't need to be there anymore. Now, this Alanor, it looks alright with the ivy. Without the ivy, it looks a little bit too perfect and too, it's just too extra, basically. I mean, that's alright, but the windows are so bright that they stick out too much from the building. So just put an ivy over it, just dirties it up, gives it a bit more hint of reality. The wall, it's 2 walls the right way up and 2 walls upside down, so you can put them together perfectly. 2 pillars on the front just to break it up. Same with this. I only put this on here to give it a bit more detailing and break up having a huge expansive wall. Another shrine, another pillar to hide the gap. Now, ignore those. The next level is just 3 staircases wide. Then you've got darn. Bear with me. I must have fallen off the stairs because there's actually a thing to block you there. Yep. So the roof is 3 Eleanor ballroom floors just overlapping. And I wanted to put a balcony at the front. Right there. Just to give it some depth on the upper floor as well. So there's another fake door. Now the tower is, each level is 2 time-worn stairs. And then the roof is 2 more monuments and then a fence post. Let's just drop these back in. Awesome. There you go, that's my church. Graveyard wasn't great. I've got more of these little gravestones, I think in one of my Halloween storage areas. But I didn't bother getting them. And there's actually a couple I haven't unlocked. I think there's 1 or 2 I haven't unlocked from Thieves or Assassin's Guild. So here, this Merkmire wall gives you the perfect outline for your building. So you just put it on the side, do the roof, place the window, and then do the height of these 2 parts, the wooden platform and the elsewhere wall underneath, just to get it right. And if you look from inside, nothing. Have the lights on the outside at the front so they pick up details. If you do it on the inside, you can see how shallow it is, how like there's not much front to back. You can see this platform too easily, so it doesn't look great. But from the outside that looks pretty awesome. The bakers, again, using those platforms for the windows, and then orc platform in the door, just because I didn't have the right length of wood, so I wanted to get that done. Do this. So obviously again you can't see the windows from the inside, but you just have to put some cakes and breads and stuff by the appropriate window slots, a few little bits on the inside, and then just a tiny bit of detailing on the back, because you can't really see the back with the camera angle, which works out really well. I think the last thing to show you is this. Now the large display case, in the morning at this angle it reflects the light horribly. It doesn't do it on the side. So there's certain times of day where that's kind of ugly. But yeah, it's a little bit too small for the Breton stall merchant. So what you have to do, either have a little gap either side, or have two of them and just put them in side by side. This actually gives you the perfect height and also the perfect width. So it's great how that works out. I think that's it. I can't remember if I've shown you this. I must have. Okay, just in case I haven't, the double sconce. Yeah, that rings a bell. Okay, I have, good. But yeah, otherwise it's just that. What I use for the shutters on the house, by the church, I use for the shutters of the doorway here. Let me see. I hope that has given you some more helpful ideas on a few little tips. I mean, like I said, this was just me playing around with windows, but I wanted to show you a few things just before I pulled it apart, and especially I wanted to see the antiquities, the stained glass in place. And that's it. I think I'm going to try and make that my screenshot, and until next time, happy building.